parking in Walmart parking lots can be a pretty good experience. Most of the time. Last night, not so much. Let's go down that road. Hello, faithful people. I'm Orlean.
And I'm Gary. We're on the roads of faith, and we are in the Northland, heading south after a wonderful night.
Yeah, not a real restful night. So we're going to tell you some things that you can maybe do to avoid what we went through last night, and how there are some things that you just don't know, and there's no way of knowing. But we definitely don't miss a TV, because we have all the excitement we want sometimes just looking out the window. Okay, it started with the fact that we found a Walmart in Superior, Wisconsin. And the store was great. We parked where the other RVs were along the curb on one end of the parking lot. We knew we didn't want to park on the other side because there were two roads that intersected, and that would not have, we knew there'd be a lot of traffic noise. So we didn't do that. So we went where the other ones were. And then we went into the store, and that's always a good thing, just to kind of get a feel for the people and everything around there. We found out that there was a small airport somewhere near us that these small planes were flying into, but they were just little planes. They weren't making a big noise, and they stopped after dark. We didn't hear them anymore after dark. While we were eating a late supper, and it was almost dark, we heard a train blow its horn. Then we didn't hear another one for quite a long time. So we thought, okay, we can live with that. There must be a train track nearby. One of the things that we could have done, if those two things are a problem, having an airport and train tracks near you, is that we could have done an aerial view, which we did this morning. We should have done it last night. But we did a Google map aerial view showing the geographics and everything, the actual picture of the area. And you could see that there was a railroad track that went right next to us. But we didn't know that because there was all this tall grass hiding it. It wasn't the one train track that was the problem. During the night, we started hearing some very loud boom noises and creaking along the tracks, and it was like, what is going on? And I finally figured out we must be somewhere close to a train yard. And sure enough, this morning, we Googled it and found and did the aerial view, and there was the one train track right next to us, and then there was a little space of some trees, not a lot of space, and then there was a whole, 15, I think we counted 15 tracks. So what was happening was, I think they were switching tracks, maybe they were hooking up and unhooking, and I don't know, but it sure made a lot of racket. But that wasn't even the worst, because that didn't last for a very long time, where we slept through it, we got used to it, I don't know. There was a dog barking, and that went on for well over half an hour. Somebody must have had a dog with anxiety issues that they left in their vehicle with the window down, and the dog barked and barked and barked and barked. And it must have been like, I don't know, it sounded like a bigger dog, like maybe a lab or a German Shepherd or something about that size. And it just kept barking and barking and barking. Well, finally that settled down. The owners must have come back and got back in the vehicle, and the dog was fine again. There was a woman in the parking lot and could not see her, could not tell where she was, but and she was yelling at somebody and having quite a discussion with that person, whoever it was. We could only hear her voice. But she was arguing with someone, and you could hear a little bit of another voice, but couldn't make out what either one of them was saying. We did hear things like, "I know my rights," just really getting very loud. And then we could hear sirens way off in the distance, getting louder and louder, until there were 7 squad cars that came running into
Our backyard.
yes, and they surrounded this person. You couldn't see her. Why they needed 7, I don't know. At one point, one of the squad cars left in a hurry, so he must have had to call somewhere else. But 6 of the cars remained. This woman was still yelling at them and arguing with them, and there was a cart involved. I don't know if she was a homeless person and that was her cart of belongings, because I didn't see them take the cart to the store. Or maybe she was a shoplifter and just walked out with a cart full of stuff. We don't know what happened, but we do know that she was gone, and that it got a little quieter, but boy, that lasted for quite a while. There was just this, "I got to get closer to you, dear," or something. For some reason, we were really far apart today. Hey, that worked good. Okay, so anyway, the yelling finally stopped with that. That was about 1 o'clock, I think. And then there was the big clunking and crazy noises from the trains. We finally got to sleep, I don't know, 1 o'clock, maybe? Something like that. Yeah. And then the rest of the night was okay. The planes started again this morning, but we slept through most of them, I'm sure. We only heard a few of them, so that was not a big deal. So how can you avoid something like this? Well, first of all, like I said, you can do an aerial view to get a feel for what area you're in. Are there railroad tracks that you can't see? Is there a small airport or a bigger airport that you're not aware of that may be nearby? And maybe even get a feel for the kind of people. We've been in Walmarts where we pulled in and it was before dark, and there were cars that were pulling up next to each other and passing things through the windows. And then the one car would leave and another car would come to that same car and do it again. And we finally thought, okay, I doubt that this was a marketplace, Facebook marketplace swap. I'm pretty sure that this was probably a drug problem thing. So we got out of there. Okay, that is not a good situation. Another time we pulled into a Walmart and there was a very strong smell, like a barn, like a big barn. And it turned out that just over the hedge area there was a big stockyard. So yeah, we did not stay at that one. So there's always different things that you might hear or see that you can prevent, but there are some things you just can't. Like this woman, we have no way. We couldn't prevent that. There was no way that we could prevent the dog from barking. Okay, that can happen anywhere. And interestingly, these things can all happen if you're in a stick of brick house. The beauty is that we could have, and we were tempted to, leave. We could just move to another location. We don't have to stay in that one place and be around that kind of a neighborhood. So we didn't leave, we stuck it out. After the police left and everything, I thought, well, okay, we're probably all right for the rest of the night. And we did a lot of praying.
Sure.
And then fell asleep. So some safety features to do while you're in that situation, though, if you're boondocking in a place like that. And it doesn't not just Walmart's. This can be at any retail store that you have permission to stay, and we always ask permission. One of the smart things to do is that you do not unhitch. You want to stay hooked up unless you're leaving to go do something and then you're going to come back. But highly recommend you stay hitched up when you're in a place like that, because then if you have to leave, you can get out of there quickly. We look for a very level spot so that we don't have to do anything with putting it up on blocks or anything like that. That way we're all ready to go. We don't have to level anything or anything. That's another time saver. Keep your windows and doors locked, especially after dark. If you have any feeling at all, any uneasy feeling about the surroundings, don't stay. Trust your instincts, because there has been several times when something just didn't seem right, like the one where they were passing things between the windows of their cars. And we just thought that's not a good situation. So you trust your instincts. If you don't feel safe, leave and find someplace else. Could these things have happened if we'd stayed in a campground? Yes. Campgrounds are not exempt from having issues like this. People have dogs that bark. The difference is, at a campground, if you have a good camp host, or if people obey the rules, is that you're not going to have the dog barking, because people like that are usually asked to leave, or they will be asked to do something about their dog, their barking dog. If the dog is left in the RV and the people are gone, then they'll hear about it when they get back, but in the meantime, you're going to hear a barking dog. That can happen in a stick-a-brick house. I mean, you can still hear a dog barking in the backyard of somebody's house. These things are not only if you're in an RV. Again, the difference is, if you don't like the neighborhood, you can leave when you live in an RV. Another thing that was that in campgrounds, as far as the woman that caused the disturbance, we were in a state park one time, and there was a domestic dispute happening in the camper next to us, and could hear that somebody was being maybe pushed around. You could kind of hear them maybe getting up against a wall or something once in a while. So we knew something needed to be done, and we knew we were not the ones to step in and do something about it. What we did is we called for help. Either call the police, or you call the campground security, or whatever you need to do, but they are trained to take care of situations like that, and you're not. And it's not a safe thing to go into a heated argument like that. So we called for help on that one, and it's about all you can do. So all in all, it wasn't the worst experience. It was not the worst night for sleeping. We've had worse. The worst experience was staying in a truck stop overnight. We learned really early. I think one of the first times we did it, we learned right away, not a quiet place to sleep. So that can be prevented by not, just don't stay there unless you have really good walls that drown out a lot of that noise, which most RVs don't. Really do appreciate stores like Walmart and Cabela's, and even Camping World allows overnight camping sometimes. So, just ask for permission. Most of them are very good. If the city ordinance allows it, it's usually not the Walmart that doesn't allow it, it's the cities that don't, because they've really started buckling down on overnight camping, because some people abuse that fact and they will stay longer, and they actually set up camp in some of those parking lots, and that's ruined it for the rest of us. So we appreciate those places where we can stay, especially when it's late at night and we haven't been able to find a campground or a better place to stay for the night. We really appreciate it when we can stay someplace like a Walmart parking lot. So thank you, Walmart, for doing that. Hope you learned something from this video. I hope it helps you out in the future for something and for finding a place to boondock. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Hit that red button down below and subscribe. And ring that little bell next to it. What are you going to do for that? Go bing. Okay, ring that little bell next to it and you'll be notified every time there's a new video up. Check out our Facebook page, Roads of Faith. And until next time, God bless.